I'm Old Sneelock. Welcome to another episode of Old Sneelock's Workshop. The other day I was driving by the pickle factory. Where's the pickle factory? Well, it's a little manufacturing operation just on the south side of Richland, going down Gull Road. And it's a manufacturing operation with a pickleball court in one of the rooms. Looks like they rented out one of the warehouse spaces as a pickleball court. Kind of a nice idea. It gives people a place to go in the wintertime. They can play, get a little exercise. A lot of very athletic people live in Richland. And I noticed that there was a big pile of pallets standing next to the building. And they're made up of boards, various sizes, most of them 1x4, a few 1x6s. And I thought, that looks like pallet boards. That looks like boards I could use to make shelves. So I stopped, loaded up all of them that they had there, because I was going to be using the pallet boards off those standard pallets underneath this pile. And they're okay, but they're kind of short and they got a bunch of nails in them. These are longer, have a bunch of nails in them, but not anywhere near as many as the ones in that pallet. So I'm going to be taking them apart and using them to make shelves for the shelving units over there in the corner. Right now I'm using the cell phone because this Nikon has seen, I think, its last run through the shop, because it'll take 10 seconds of video and then stalls out. I don't think it's batteries, I think it's camera. So I need to get a different camera. But after the never to be spoken well of hacker that knocked the channel down, the income of the channel has dropped back significantly, so I don't have extra capital to spend on new things. So I'll have to bring out the big Canon and use that out here and lug it back and forth so I keep it in the warm. I don't want to leave it out here to get frozen up. So that's going to take a little bit more work, but for right now tonight, I'm working with the cell phone and we're just going to go with that. I take those pallets apart. Then I'm using the chop saw to cut the boards up. I just have to make sure I don't cut through any staples. This is the storyboard that I'm using to set my length. First set of boards I cut up to make that first shelf. I cut this board to fit, then I've been using it to measure everything since then. And what I'm doing is just setting the board on top. Sliding things over. That's all lined up. That's up against the saw blade. Then we just pull the trigger. And away we go. That's a board. As long as I keep the staples up and make sure I'm cutting between staples, I should be fine. The other thing is you want to do is always use the same storyboard. I've seen more people get into trouble saying, well, this one's cut the same as the other one, I'll just use that one. Well, that makes them incrementally larger as a general rule. So the last one you cut can be quite a bit bigger than the first one you cut. Also, you're going along and you end up with a bunch of them are all different sizes, because you cut one, then you use it, and then you cut another one and you use it, and then you go back and get the original one and you cut some more, so nothing fits. Nothing is the same. You have to go back and either cut them all, or you've nailed up a bunch of them and you've got a thing that just wobbles all over the place. I saw a guy do a porch railing that way. Also, another cardinal sin, don't drink while you're working. He was a 6-pack an evening guy, so any job that he did, if he got it done before supper, it was a pretty good chance it was going to be okay. Anything after supper, who knew? It was going to be definitely different than what he had originally intended. And the sad thing was, he was a good carpenter. He just liked his beer. Okay. Now, holding the camera so you guys can see is a well worth project, but it does make it so that the odds of me cutting a good board are lessened. This is what happens when you get into situations where you're working by yourself. Well, that's 3 shelf boards. There we go. I bought 1 more upright and 4 more cross pieces, so I'll be able to put up 2 more shelves. I'm going to extend it down that way, at least for right now. I'm thinking I want to have this be the storage area, so that when things get left as they normally do, they come in the door and they get dropped on the closest thing, because that's one of my bad habits. I want to make it so that I set it someplace where it goes. So I want to have the storage spaces closer to the door, so as I do walk through, I'll have someplace to put them. And I'll try and put most of the working area over in that corner. Well, most of the working area in the back wall and around that side. My intent in the beginning was to have the welder in the far corner, and then have the machine tools in that corner, and the woodworking along and through here. And we'll see if we can do that, because I've only taken 2 feet out of the building. That leaves 12 feet to the center line. And I should be able to put a couple of workbenches in here. It'll be close to the wood stove, that's true, but it shouldn't bother a whole lot. One of the benches is made out of steel, and most of them are made out of wood, but we'll try and have things a good 30 inches away from the wood stove, so if I walk off and leave them, I won't set a wood burner, or I won't set a wooden bench on fire. But while I was doing things trying to get the camera to work, I've cut up a bunch of these shelf boards. There's still a pile of them over there on the workmate here. Might be enough to finish that bottom shelf. But I'm not going to try standing on my head holding the cell phone so you guys can watch. And I will get out the big cannon, and we will bring that one out tomorrow when I come out to work. Sometimes you have to make compromises to get things going, and that's been this job from the very beginning. One compromise after another. But in the end, they all seem to be working in my favor, because I won't let them go anywhere else. Got the bottom shelf filled in with boards. Got some more stuff up off the floor. We're gaining every day a little bit more. And that's really a good goal. If I can do just a little bit more every day, I'll get to the end of it. A little $5 garage sale ladder is working pretty good. Managed to get the top shelf some pieces in it, got the bottom shelf all done, and the other two middle shelves are getting loaded. That's gaining. If you have any suggestions for a new video, questions about today's video, or any of the other videos on the channel, just drop a note in the comments. You know I read them all. Thanks for watching.
This video is not to be viewed by anyone under the age of 13 in the U.S. or 16 in the European Union without the express written permission of the parents or the legal guardians of the underage person. Such written permission must be on file at the local government entity in charge of enforcing the rules and regulations established by the FTC. Anyone violating these terms is admitting by default that they hold harmless the owners and operators of this channel. Any and all questions should be addressed to your local branch of the FTC.